Our Bible verse for this morning is the verse that I mentioned in our prayer, where Jesus says, "When two or three are gathered in my name, come together in my name, there I am in the midst of them." Radical hospitality, passionate worship, intentional faith development, risk-taking mission and service, extravagant generosity. People are searching for a church shaped and sustained by these qualities. The presence and strength of these 5 practices demonstrate congregational health, vitality, and fruitfulness. By repeating and improving these practices, churches fulfill their mission to make disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world. These are the opening words to a book I recently found entitled 5 Practices of Fruitful Congregations, a book by Robert Schnace. As you can imagine, these opening words piqued my interest in regards to this book. And so I've decided to spend the time to read it. These 5 fundamental qualities, which I've given you a list of: radical hospitality, passionate worship, intentional faith development, risk-taking mission and service, extravagant generosity. These are thought-provoking, inspiring, as well as contagious characteristics for a church. And local churches where these 5 practices are fundamental, where they are ingrained inside the organization, behave differently than what is most often expected from outsiders. What I mean is that most church visitors already have some sort of expectation as to the local church's mission. Most people visiting a church understand that a church's mission, their desire, is to encourage others to become disciples of Jesus Christ. This purpose is typically accomplished by offering a sense of Christian welcome and hospitality. Why? So that people are able to experience a sense of belonging. People do not like to be where they do not feel welcomed, right? I don't like to be where I don't feel welcome, and I know you feel the same way. You've heard me share with you before how the key to our welcoming others into our congregation is for us to offer a place where people belong, where they believe, and where they become. Creating for our visitors a sense of belonging must be first. Helping them grow in what they believe about Jesus, and then encouraging them to become closer in their individual relationship with God, in their walk of faith. Now, the author of this book, he even goes so far as to state, quote, "These fundamental practices are so critical to a congregation's mission that failure to perform them in an exemplary way results in congregational deterioration and decline." With that said, I don't imagine that it comes to any surprise to you that I've chosen and that I want to share this information with us. And in fact, I do so for a couple of different reasons. First, most people want the best for their local church, just as it is no secret that we obviously want the best for our local church. And the current state of our congregation in terms of size obviously makes this a very timely topic for our focus and for our discussion. There's much that we are able to learn together in regards of how other churches operate and how they grow. And you and I must continue constantly working together, always striving to sharpen our focus, to become more intentional in what we do, seeking both creative change as well as new opportunities for different types of ministry and outreach. And this obviously we have begun to do by our providing the free groceries, right? On our fourth Saturday food giveaway, which is this coming Saturday, it's off to a great start. To a great start in just letting the community know that, hey, that we are here. Hey, we are a church that cares, and we are trying to do something. So we are trying to let the community know about us, as well as we want to let them know about our God. Can I give you one quick personal example? Last week, my family, we gathered to be with our mom on Mother's Day. And sitting around the table, we enjoyed a family meal together, something that we haven't been able to do in quite a long time with all this COVID. And one of my brothers asked me, he just happened to say, well, tell me what's going on with your church. So I began sharing with him the results of our grocery giveaway from last month. And I was simply telling him about our desire that we have as to helping others. And while I was doing this, my brother stopped me and he asked directly, he goes, well, tell me, how much is one of these pallets of food that your church purchases? Without thinking about it, I told him, I said, well, Scott, the cost is $250. To which my brother replied, my checkbook is in the car, and before I leave here, I'm going to go and I'm going to write your church a check to pay for the next pallet of food. He went to the car and he immediately wrote us a check for $250. Now, that is a wonderful blessing, but that's not what I'm most excited to share with you. Then he said that he and his 2 kids will be here at our church this coming Saturday morning to help us pass out the food. My brother and his family, they go to a good-sized church in Grapevine where he lives. But he intends to drive all the way out here from Grapevine just so that they can be a part and help us do what we are wanting to do. Now, to me, that is the exciting part. So I tell you without any hesitation, God is at work in our desire to help provide food to our hungry neighbors. And that is exciting. The point I want to share with you is how I believe there are many people around us, like my brother, that would like to help. In talking to Scott, I did not ask him for money. I did not ask if he wanted to come out and drive out here on a Saturday morning to come and help. I admit to you that those 2 thoughts, they never even entered into my mind as I was talking to him. I was simply telling him how our new church focus had changed and that we were excited about our 4th Saturday outreach. The lesson that I have learned is that I must be willing to be more open to the opportunities I have just to talk to others about our church and about what we are doing. Many people, as I said, they want to be involved in helping others. They're just not sure where to go or how they can help. So we need to be ready. We need to be ready and open just to tell others about what we're doing at church. The other reason I share this information is because what is good for us as a church is also good for us as individual believers. These same corporate practices also provide a wonderful path for our personal growth, our personal and individual growth. When we live these characteristics of Christian discipleship, when we offer gracious hospitality, when we are willing to place ourselves under the influence of God's Spirit during our times of Sunday morning worship, when we want to grow in our Christ-likeness through things like Bible study and through church fellowship with one another, and when we practice compassion and generosity, the amazing love and the grace of God becomes more visible and more real within each of us, hopefully becoming ever more meaningful and life-changing. Life-changing not just for us, but also for our families and for those who are around us. Vibrant, fruitful, growing Christians are those that intentionally choose to live these practices on a daily basis. Now, I know I've said them several times in this message, but I want to repeat them again. that these qualities that I've shared with you are radical hospitality, passionate worship, intentional faith development, risk-taking, mission and service, extravagant generosity. These fundamental qualities, they work together to deepen a person's faith, creating stronger disciples, and working together transform communities. They have the power to help us transform our community, all to the glory of our gracious God. As I said at the beginning, Jesus says in Matthew 20, where 2 or 3 come together in my name, there I am with them. Isn't that what being the church is all about?